Ah yes, remember the good old days back when anime was still considered a niche, and so getting one of your friends to watch it meant that you had to write a 20-page essay convincing them that it wasn't weird? Well, fuck those days. With anime as popular as ever, more and more people have been accepting of what was once a small community. You see, nowadays it's almost impossible to not know what anime is. I swear, it feels pretty weird knowing that I can just talk about Attack on Titan or Demon Slayer in public and not get any weird looks from other people. But with more attention means that more people are checking anime out for the first time, and as we all know, anime can be pretty weird. Spanning a wide range of series from psychological inducing thrillers to girls having an ass battle, I think I can speak for most of the community when I say that anime is pretty wacky. You know, as much as I would love to sit down with the boys and pop open an episode of High School DxD, I don't think introducing that show to someone as their first ever anime is going to convince them to stick around. But before the video begins, let me introduce you guys to a quick backstory. As someone who was originally the only anime watcher in my group of friends, after convincing most of them to give anime a chance and actually piquing their interest in the medium, I think I've developed the go-to reliable outline when recommending anime. You see, the best thing about anime is how different it is. Characters are weird, and there are definitely quote-unquote abnormal scenes, but I think all of us know deep down that there's nothing else like anime. But for someone who's looking to get into anime, that weirdness can be a huge turnoff. What really makes me disappointed is whenever I hear someone say that they don't like anime because they know it will be bad. Like bro, I know you've probably seen a couple of memes or random scenes of hentai while scrolling through the web, but I don't think tying this entire image to the wide medium of anime is fair. But you know what? Fuck it. I've heard my fair share of anime hate throughout the years, and this is why I've created the go-to recommendations for all of you guys trying to get your friends to watch anime. Anime is an acquired taste. Okay, this might sound like I'm memeing, but hear me out for a sec. I'm sure any one of you watching this video who got into anime can relate to this sequence of events. First, you were probably introduced to anime at a young age, maybe Naruto or One Piece. If you started later, maybe you watched Death Note, SAO, or Tokyo Ghoul. After realizing that anime was pretty sick, you started watching more and more anime, wanting to find the best anime possible. You started watching Code Geass and put on a Lelouch profile picture, but all in all, you come to realize that there's more to anime than just good shows, and thus you devolve into shows like High School DxD or whatever isekai you can find. Let's pause here. The important thing is that the more you watch, the more you come to terms with anime's wackiness. So, to get someone into the genre of anime, recommending your friend to watch Rent a Girlfriend as their first ever show, even though you liked it, is probably not a good idea. Like I said before, anime is an acquired taste. To get others to watch anime, you must think from their point of view as someone who's going in blind, which is why I created this list of checkpoints to follow when recommending anime. The first step when recommending anime is to ask what type of shows your friend likes. If they like romance, give them Your Name. If they like thriller, give them The Promised Neverland. And if they like redemption stories, give them Redo of I mean ReZero. What I'm saying is that the best way to get your friends into anime is to give them something that you know that they'll enjoy, not something that you like. Yes, while I personally enjoy a lot of slice of life and drama anime, if my friend likes thriller, then I'll gladly give him the Death Note to Battle L. Even though my favorite anime is Maquia, I would never recommend it to anyone as their first anime. I know that other people would definitely not enjoy it as much, since to me, the movie connected on a personal level. Everyone has a different taste in what they like, so if you want to get someone invested, recommend something that's personalized to them. The second checkpoint is the length of the show. Okay, let me be clear in stating that I don't think long-running shows are bad. You can definitely have a long-running show with amazing writing throughout the series. I've seen all of One Piece, and I still think it's one of the greatest series to date. But think about it from another person's perspective. As someone who got into One Piece when I was very young, I had all the time in the world and wasn't really focused on anything else. This meant that starting One Piece didn't really have an effect on me. However, if you were to recommend a show as long as One Piece to your friend as their first ever anime, there's going to be a bit of a problem. Opportunity cost is defined as the next best alternative, and to them, watching 900 episodes of One Piece versus completing 30 other series is probably an easy choice to make. Therefore, even though long-running shonens are fire as fuck, I would refrain from recommending them as an introduction into anime. This is because we're trying to create the highest chance of getting others sticking around into anime. Also, it doesn't help that people are evolving to have the attention span of a goldfish. You know, with the influx of TikTok and YouTube shorts I've been seeing on my feed. The last checkpoint to follow, and probably the most important, is to try to recommend something that is universally liked upon. I can already hear the comments stating, "But this show is so underrated. Fuck stats and ratings. They are useless." Stats exist for a reason. They exist to measure the general trend among a population. If the rating of a show is higher, then on average, it is statistically more likely that people will agree that the show is quote-unquote better written. However, that's not me saying that what you like doesn't matter. I'm someone who thinks that if you like a show, that's all that matters. But if we are trying to get our friends into anime, why not take something that is universally liked upon so we can increase the chance of our friend enjoying the show? SAO is a pretty funny series along the lines of this. I personally enjoy the show, but I wouldn't recommend it to people as their first ever anime if I want the highest chance of them sticking around. SAO is usually a hit or miss depending on what you're looking for in a show. To summarize this point, Mal or AniList is your best friend. On a quick note, popularity does not equal better writing, but it does mean that the show is more appealing. And since there's too much to talk about with popular shows, I'll just save it for another video. And now, time for the actual content you guys clicked for. Hey Hyacinth, what show should I recommend to my friends? Well, right now I'm gonna give my own personal opinion on that. Take it into account that I haven't seen every single anime, and since I'm only using my own experiences, take these recommendations with a grain of salt. If we look back into the early days of anime, the top quote-unquote entry anime for people getting into the genre were probably Death Note, Sword Art Online, and Tokyo Ghoul. But times have changed, and 15 years later, Death Note is the only one still standing that I would recommend to a new watcher. It has all the checkpoints that I addressed above. It's not too long, every second of the anime is suspenseful and well thought out, and most importantly, it implements what can only be done in the medium of anime. If you take a look at the infamous potato chip scene, name any other medium that is able to recreate the scene to the extent that the anime has done. It's wacky and represents the stylistic nature of anime while also adding to the tense scene of Death Note. It's the perfect show to introduce anime's wackiness. However, with the 2010s introducing a plethora of new shows, there have been a ton of series that can be replaced as the go-to recommendations for new watchers. So for the next couple of series, I'm gonna name it based on genre and what a person's tastes are. Starting with if they like drama, I would recommend Violet Evergarden or A Silent Voice. As an honorable mention, I would also recommend To Your Eternity, but since the anime is still currently airing, I wouldn't add it there quite yet. Next, if they like thriller, then I would recommend Steins Gate or The Promised Neverland, with me going for the latter. Moving on, if they like romance or slice of life, I would recommend Your Name or Your Lie in April. And if they were ever to get into a shonen not as long as One Piece or Naruto, it would have to be Hunter x Hunter or Demon Slayer. But I know what you're all thinking. Hey Hyacinth, you've given me a list based on genre and taste. What if they say that they don't mind watching anything? If I were to pick any of these anime I've listed as a recommendation for a newcomer, it would have to be, drumroll please, The Promised Neverland. And also Attack on Titan if they don't mind the show being pretty long. To me, The Promised Neverland has one of the strongest first seasons throughout anything I've ever watched. Not only that, the first episode has a very grappling hook that is bound to get anyone hooked on to the anime. It takes what seems like a cute playful scenery and shifts the tone completely, all within the span of 20 minutes. This show is what I would recommend to anyone who watches anime for the first time. Only in anime can you have genius children use their wits to battle against the demonic structure in the world of Neverland. If anyone says that they don't like anime because it looks too cringe, or I don't like how everyone in anime is so extra, then you should at least tell them to watch The Promised Neverland. Whatever perceptions they've had of anime beforehand, I'm sure Neverland will shatter them and instead create an interest into anime. However, a problem might arise if the viewer gets so hooked onto Neverland that they ask if it has a second season. And to solve this problem, it's pretty easy. Just tell them that the second season of Neverland was a fan-made passion project that accidentally aired on Japanese television. Or just read the manga. I mean, this entire video is basically my own opinion, so you're free to disagree with me if you like. But based on my own experiences, I'm sure that The Promised Neverland takes the cake for an amazing first anime. But before the video ends, I want to add that you might want to slide in a couple of movie recommendations such as Spirited Away or A Silent Voice. The reason behind this is that movies tend to be of higher quality since they have a bigger budget. The animation is usually crispier and the OSTs are an actual banger. I could make a whole video about how great OSTs are in anime, but that'll be for a later video. Anime is definitely a one-of-a-kind medium, and I personally enjoy everything that it's brought to us. From the hyped animated fights, to the breathtaking scenery, to the unforgettable soundtracks, I'm excited that anime is growing as popular as ever, and with it, this has been your go-to recommendations for getting into anime. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you guys disagreed with my recommendations, feel free to comment down below. On a bit of a side note, I might also do another video explaining how to get your friends to read manga. It is definitely harder to get your friends to read manga than it is to watch anime, but as a manga reader, there are so many good stories out there, and I'm sure that anyone who hasn't read manga is definitely missing out on stories like Berserk, Vagabond, and Vinland Saga. But everything aside, if you made it to the end of the video, just know that I appreciate every single one of you. Telling others about this channel is the best way to help me grow and to make sure that this channel spreads like wildfire. Liking this video can also help me get onto the algorithm. That's all for this video, and as always, this has been Hyacinth. Peace.